more I think about it, the happier I get that Pulsechain is improving on Ethereum to begin with. They're fixing, they're combing through some of the bugs, getting rid of them, and it's going to be happening after we get to basically can collect some data on how this merge and how these networks are going to be operating. Because I think it would have been a lot more chaotic if Pulsechain was in the mix already now.
Yeah, it does give us some type of experience right now, because we know what to actually expect when Pulsechain does launch. And we know that it's going to be completely decentralized. We ain't got to worry about no damn Ethereum node tracking our asses.
Yeah, I think it's a huge advantage moving forward. I don't know if you guys also saw that I have this chart where I basically mapped out all of like the important dates on a hex chart and then put the same date like where they correspond on the Ethereum and Bitcoin charts, stuff like that. And what you see, like Hadron launched on a downtrend, Icosa launched on a downtrend, and if you look where Hex launched, it was like the perfect long, like the perfect entry for before like for the cycle. So yeah, I think it's sort of giving the market an opportunity to settle out and not launch on a downtrend, because I think even like Hadron and Icosa, they would have done much better had they not launched right before the market sold off.
I think Alex even admitted that he developed, a product like Hedron, in his sleep, because he always visualized it to do so. But as far as market, he really didn't understand markets. I think that's what he said when he launched Hedron. He just wanted to put it out there and just have it do what it do. And then knowing possibly the way Alex thinks, he's an analytical thinker. So he just looked at the product work the way it was, and then he merged his other idea in, which was his first one, so we could get the results that we have now. And the thing is with Hedron, it's really the long run. I mean, year or two from now, man, you're not gonna get the 60 million Hedron. You may get six. you may get 6 million. So yeah, you gotta keep that in mind too, like with Hedron. So when he actually made this thing, man, it's absolutely for the long run. And I knew that right away as soon as he launched it. I'm like, no, this is a very long-term play. This will build, generational wealth on top of our hex stakes, definitely.
Well, I think that's what we all know now, is that Hadron price suppressed strictly just because of when it came onto the market. Like if you think about it, it didn't even get the tail end of a pump or a bull run or anything. It literally launched like on the way down. So it's never experienced a real allocation of capital yet. The performance on it has been, it depends where, and stuff like that. But overall, like even given dire circumstances, the price performance was still pretty damn good. Not like heck, but it's not bad. Like there's definitely some gains to be made. So what's going to happen when we have these assets available and they're options for a real inflow of capital, during a build up to a bull run or during a bull run? It can be shocking, like how high they can go.
Yeah, it actually made like a V-shaped recovery, man, from its all-time low, all the way up to like what, like 5 zeros and a 6.
And how long did it take? It barely even took any time.
No, it didn't. It didn't at all. The thing is, if Bitcoin wasn't acting, falling asleep and shit on the wheel, Hedron would still be pumping, definitely, because Hedron's also reflective off the Hex performance also. So is Icosa. So if Hex goes down, of course, that's going to affect both of them. But once Hex do something, man, that's another tidbit right there.
Well, if you think about it, what does Hadron accomplish? Like, so you got Hex T shares. That's like treasury. Let's say like they're like T bills, and the Hadron is the dividend that you can collect, not when they tell you, but when you want to. So if you think about it, like you have two like basically compounding compound, right? And it essentially collecting dividends on a compounding asset as good or better than a 10-year treasury. Do people like dividend? Hell yeah, they do. Like you're starting to get attention from, probably some pretty damn large players, because they get it. Like you want to compound. And so if you can get stake and dividend at will, how do you say no to that? Like what's better? Nothing.
Shit, you can't say no to that. Plus you can stake it and get more dividend. I
That's
mean,
what I mean. At some point, like these hedge funds got to be looking at this and saying, like, hell yeah, like this is what we want. You get compound and dividend. There's literally nothing else in the market offers.
I think that's why we're doing so well with it. I mean, those ones who actually, staked out, actually sat down and thought about it, like how to project their return that the way that they want. And now you understand with these two other dividends that are on top of X. And now you got two other chains with it that going to go on up the same damn way. And you can even increase your positions on those chains. Fuck, you could be dolphin or shark on POW and on the what's at the fair now. I mean, dude, while we're waiting on Pulsechain.
Right, like people didn't really understand what would happen with post launch, but now you could sort of show them that this is what it's gonna look like, right? You're gonna get a copy on a different chain, blah blah blah. So there's already like a real life example that's happened that people can look into. But as far as buying strategy, like you want the real deal. My only play on proof of work or fair is just to allocate as much capital away from them into real hex to get copied, and then I'm gonna do the same thing to get the capital allocated into Pulsechain. That's pretty much that would be my strategy. Ideally, I would want it on Pulsechain because that capital is going to be least touched by big players that can manipulate the prices, which is what we've been seeing happen on Ethereum and Bitcoin. Like once the big players get involved. So I mean, I want to put my capital where it means the most. Like if you think about it, like Hex is what on day 1,000, like 20 something or 30 something. If you look, like that's still less than 3 years. I think I did the math. It's about 2.8 years. You look at the first 3 years of any, legitimate crypto. Are any of those people down if they got in the first 3 years of anything? No, they're way up,